Hello, and welcome to Inside Jacksonville, a production of the University of North Florida School of Communication and the CW17. I'm Relis Rea. We're here each month with stories about life on the First Coast. What started out as a small pandemic-era operation has grown into a Jacksonville food truck with a story to tell. Along the way, the food truck has faced repeated setbacks, testing both the business and the person behind it. Inside Jacksonville's Isabella Lasso shows how one local business owner continues to rebuild again and again.
What started as a small setup during the pandemic has grown into a recognizable name in Jacksonville's local food scene. El Cubano began with simple ingredients and a goal of bringing something new to the Jacksonville community.
Hi, my name is Esteban Azofefa, born and raised in Miami, and chef by trade. El Cubano Jacks was a business I started during the pandemic in 2020. And in the spare time, I got a hot dog cart, which had a grill on it, a flat top grill on it, which I used. And I started making Cuban sandwiches. Being from South Florida, it was just something that I really enjoyed eating and having in every street corner pretty much in South Florida. Growing up in Miami, in Jacksonville wasn't so popular, so I wanted to give people a little bit of, of that South Florida flavor. The journey for me was also just starting something that ended up being successful at a point, but I've gone through a lot of ups and downs.
What started as just sandwiches sold from a hot dog cart during the pandemic has turned into something much bigger. But for El Cubano, this journey has come with its setbacks, making the story more than just about food. As the business continued to grow, challenges outside of Esteban's control began to impact where he could operate. Over time, El Cubano was forced to close 3 different times after the breweries it was located at shut down. And more recently, he found himself facing that reality once again.
To have to go through the heartbreak of essentially closing your business because another business had to close is really what hurts. You get told, hey, we're shutting down tomorrow. And I was like almost in disbelief and just the upset of not only it happening again, but this time the way it happened. All I could do is just laugh.
Even with uncertainty, the story of El Cubano continues to evolve. For this small business owner, each setback has become part of a larger journey, defined by persistence and starting over. Inside Jacksonville, Isabella Lazo.
El Cubano is more than just a food truck. It's a story of resilience. For more updates on the food truck when they're opening again, you can follow them on Instagram at El Cubano Jacks. Most people in their 90s are slowing down, but one local veteran is proving he still has what it takes out on the golf course. Inside Jacksonville, Tristan Larrabee takes us to St. Augustine, where this 99-year-old veteran is still giving it his all.
He served his country for decades, but at 99, Jacob Jack Tenore is still showing up with a different kind of drive, right here on the golf course.
They restarted the draft at the end of 45. Harry Truman said, we've decimated our military. We don't have any military left. We've discharged everybody. Right. So they had the people that were like me, who were on the cusp at the end of World War II. We were all in the reserves, So then when they reinstated the draft, I was amongst one of the first to be recalled.
After decades of service, including time in the Korean War, World War II, and the Vietnam War, Tenore says the discipline and focus he learned in the Army still guide him today. Now, with every swing.
I used to love to sit in my office and listen to the first sergeant talk with them. And he'd say, we don't care what happened in your past, because back in those days, we had 7 guys. The judge said you go to the military or you go to jail.
At 99 years old, most people are slowing down, but not Jack. Every single day, you'll find this World War II veteran out on the course lining up his next shot. He says golf keeps him moving, keeps him sharp, and every week it gives him something to look forward to.
So we loaded up, and as soon as we got outside the compound, We got to the first field and we pulled over. First sergeant said, we're going in here. And said, Cookie, turn on the coffee pot. And we stayed there until we got the troops relatively sober again.
Nearing a century-year-old, Jack isn't just playing the game. He's proving it's never too late to keep moving, keep competing, and keep doing what you love. I'm Tristan Larrabee, inside Jacksonville.
With a lifetime of service and a swing that's still going strong, Jack is proving that age is just a number on and off the course. A new exhibit at the Jacksonville Zoo and Gardens is giving visitors an up-close look at manatees, while also raising awareness about the challenges they face. Reporter Kara Gelman shows how it's making an impact.
At the Jacksonville Zoo and Botanical Gardens, a new manatee exhibit is already stopping visitors in their tracks, drawing them in for a closer look.
So the manatee exhibit, and basically it's a rehab facility that also doubles as an exhibit for our guests. But we have had right across the train tracks over there, we've had a critical care manatee critical care center since 2017.
As part of the new entrance, the zoo saw an opportunity to grow, transforming the space into a rehabilitation facility that can now support up to 20 manatees.
Here at the Jacksonville Zoo, visitors aren't just getting a closer look at these new gentle giants. They're learning and understanding the importance of why they need protection.
A large part of their issues they face, let's say, call it that, is human. It's human related, whether it's fishermen, whether it's boats, or whether it's, kind of growth, population growth.
This new exhibit serves as an important reminder that many of the threats facing manatees today are human caused, making education and awareness critical to their survival.
I will say, 10-year-old me is super stoked because I get to work at a zoo and I get to be around all of the animals we have here. But it was really a cool experience when the first manatees went into this facility. The fact that we have the ability to help them and get them back to health and send them back out into the wild is something really rewarding.
And that impact is already being felt by visitors, drawing people in the moment they walk through the entrance, often stopping for a while to watch and connect with the manatees.
Seeing a lot of people spend a lot more time at the entrance than they ever did before. Normally you come in, you check your ticket, and you head off. But now people are spending a lot more time at the glass.
And that connection goes beyond the exhibit, reflecting a larger mission to inspire people to care about wildlife.
And our message here at the Jacksonville Zoo and Botanical Gardens is to protect wildlife and wild places. And so we're connecting people to those wildlife and wild places. And what better way to do that than right as you walk in and check your ticket, you're looking at basically a Florida spring with manatees right there looking back at you.
And as visitors pause a little longer at the start, the exhibit becomes something more, turning a simple visit into a reminder of the role we all play in protecting species like the manatee. Carrie Ullman, inside Jacksonville.
Zoo staff hopes that the exhibit will continue to educate visitors and inspire them to help protect manatees in the wild. Coming up, banned books have become a growing topic of conversation across the country. One local bookstore is making sure those stories remain accessible. Also, after the break, a dart bar in Riverside is creating a space for all ages to connect. We'll show you how it's hoping to hit the bullseye with customers. You're watching Inside Jacksonville on CW17. Welcome back to Inside Jacksonville. Rum Riverside Bar has begun throwing community-based events. Most recently, they held an adult prom where proceeds were donated to Blessings in a Backpack. Inside Jacksonville's Emma Pochell take us to get the story.
Dart Bar and Games, located in Riverside of Jacksonville, Florida, is open Monday through Sunday and allows all ages to come until it hits 9 p.m. when they become 21 plus.
We're a community bar. We always have been. That's what, the whole premise was when we opened. I just wanted to do something to give back to the community and also do something that, we don't see a lot of now that we're adults and in our 20s, is being able to really tap in with our inner child and also make it something that gives back.
One of their goals is to become a part of the community. By doing this, they plan events with the community in mind. Things such as events with fundraisers, having book clubs, foosball leagues, dart leagues, and much more.
We try to really be inclusive to everyone. We have a monthly pride event that we do. We have chess meetups and we do foosball meetups, and that one gets a really big crowd. We have a dart league. We work with the local Stonewall recreational group that they do their dart league with us. We've had a cornhole league, disc golf league, we have a pool league, just literally anything that you could do.
Making the space one where everyone can join until 9 p.m. where they become 21 plus allows for them to be a part of the community and not just for people that are 21 and over. Here at Dart Bar in downtown Jacksonville, they're throwing their very first adult prom to raise money for a local charity.
So it was our bartender Noelle's idea. We were looking for things to do in the spring. He recommended that we do a adult prom and it be a fundraiser. When we were talking about different organizations to work with, we had a couple in the books, and then when we heard back from Blessings in a Backpack, it was the perfect one for us.
I knew that prom season was coming up, and I just wanted to do something fun, and it just hit me, and I brought it up knowing that it would be received well, and we just kind of ran with it.
They give children in little backpacks over the weekend who are a part of the free and reduced lunch program at Title I schools here in Duval, Clay County, St. Johns County. Give them food over the weekends and holiday breaks. These are students that otherwise wouldn't have access to food because most of their meals are given to them at school.
Emma Pochel, Inside Jacksonville.
Interested in attending one of their events? Check out their Instagram at dartbarjax. And for interest in learning more about Blessings in a Backpack, head to their website, firstcode.blessingsinabackpack.org. One section of a local bookstore hopes to spark change. Inside Jacksonville, Sebastian Baez takes us to Chamberlain's Book Mine to showcase its banned book display.
The Chamberlain Book Mine has featured a banned books display since 2022, showcasing literature that Duval County did not approve for educational use in varying grades across K through 12. Today, the display regularly rotates books that have been placed on the ban list.
So our goal is to A, educate the community as much as we can, but B, also get those books into people's hands as much as we can. Basically, it's just education. There's a lot of people that'll walk by the display and they'll be like, oh my gosh, I had no idea that book was banned, or why is that book banned? And so they're more likely to pick it up.
Chamberlain employees say that finding out which books are on the ban list is both disheartening and difficult, as the Duval County Review Board is constantly adding books to the list.
They try to say that the list is easy to find and it's accessible for everyone to look it up and know what books are banned, but it's actually kind of difficult to keep track of, especially when they're doing books weekly almost, it seems like. The number one issue we run into is people being like, books aren't banned, it's fake, so.
Here in the banned books display, you can find prolific authors like Roald Dahl and John Green. Many of the books include topics like race, gender, and fantasy, among others.
We also have a lot of stuff that people consider like magic, but it's really not. It's just fantasy. I mean, it's just stuff like that that's really just fun, things that kids would use like their imagination with, but it's considered magic, so.
Keeping these banned books affordable and accessible for children remains a top priority for Chamberlain, providing an easy way for young readers to access books for a reasonable price.
People are always like, it's not like the books are banned, you can still buy them, but I don't think people realize to the extent that like when you take away that accessibility within schools, not a lot of kids are able to drive, and so they're not able to just drive up to the bookstore, or even if they can, they're not all able to buy their own books. And not all of the kids have access to libraries and things like that, so. Even
today, books are being challenged in Duval, with Chamberlain standing with authors to ensure everyone's story can be told. Sebastian Baez, Inside Jacksonville.
Chamberlain's Book Mine continues to promote their banned book section in hopes of gaining more voices for the community. Art is highly beneficial to many and can be experienced through many different forms. Inside Jacksonville's Evernie Benjamin shows how art has improved lives along the First Coast.
Art is something that any and all can experience. All forms of art can be beneficial as well as important to learn. I talked to sculpting professor Jenny Hager to hear her thoughts.
I think visual art is at the core of what makes us human. It's a way to communicate ideas to other people. It's a way to work through your own issues through a creative process. I think it helps people heal, creates healing in communities, and it's a response to everything that's happening around us in the world.
There is a lot of value in learning about visual art for students specifically.
They see it as a way to voice their opinions. They see it as a way to heal themselves from life experiences and things that they've had to deal with along the way. And I think it presents interesting challenges always that creates good problem-solving skills.
I later asked painting and drawing professor Marisa Yao who she feels can benefit from learning and practicing visual art.
I had 2 studios, and at one point in time, my youngest student was 7, and my oldest student was 93. So I had a very broad range of people who were interested in learning. Everybody can benefit from studying and practicing art. It's not just an art student. It is literally open to you or to me or to anyone who's just interested in creating.
Professor Yao discussed why she values visual art and her experience as an art teacher.
I loved the fact that I could create something and it was mine. Like, creating something is an amazing feeling. Like, it is like, I did that. Teaching-wise, I love being able to take young artists and give them that same sense of accomplishment. It's a wonderful thing that's going to carry them through, and it helps them see something through to the end.
I am here in the Fine Arts Center to ask some of the students why they appreciate visual art.
So through my art, my painting is definitely how I express myself the most. It's such a good way to explore different emotions and how I'm feeling and kind of dig through all that deeper stuff.
It gives me a lot of peace and clarity within my mind and within the world around me.
Evernie Benjamin, Inside Jacksonville.
To learn more about the UNF Fine Arts Center, visit their page at unf.edu/fineartscenter. Don't go away. One local warehouse is proving one person's trash can be another person's treasure. Also, after the break, how one sports league is changing the socializing game by fostering community and creating everlasting memories for adults both new and familiar with the city. You're watching Inside Jacksonville on CW17. Get lost in the 50,000 square foot Ecorelics warehouse, where Inside Jacksonville's Jessica Lee shows how the new company is keeping reusable treasure out of landfills.
At Ecorelics, each item gets a new lease on life, but the 50,000 square foot property holds more than your typical antique store.
We have a lot of antiques. We continue with the architectural salvage, but we also sell a ton of wood and lumber for people that want to be DIYers and do building as well. And we have our own custom wood shop where we build furniture, so people can come in and order the furniture, their dream furniture that they want to have.
Chris is the manager of the wood shop. He takes the term tree huggers to a whole new level, repurposing trees that have already been cut down.
I love trees. Trees are just so interesting to me. And so, we get a lot of the wood we source is, very naturally sourced. So a lot of them come from people's property, which is a much greener way. We're not clear-cutting forests to get these slabs or trees that have to come down.
Nestled within this landscape of possibility is not just unique objects, but also the owner of Ecorelics, whose commitment to eco-friendly practices is rooted in her childhood.
I grew up in Europe, and so they were so far ahead of us as far as recycling, having public recycling at the corners, and this was quite a while ago. And so when I returned to the States to go to college, I was just horrified that the United States had none of these things. And now it became more our mission to keep stuff out of landfills.
I will tell you that one of my favorite parts of the job is that there are so many unique items. We have a medieval style knight's throne that's in the back right now with the date on the front of it that says 1473.
You never know what to expect walking into a place like this, whether it's a 500-year-old medieval knight chair or a cute little trinket doorknob that you could repurpose and give a new life to.
Well, I bought too many things to count for future things. We have a whole aisle of just doorknobs, and our kitchen is just going to be remodeled, doorknobs. We're going to paint everything.
Caitlin has been with Ecorelics less than a year now and constantly stumbles upon inspiration to begin projects of her own. The crew's love for the environment is contagious to travelers, regulars, and even new staff like Caitlin. Jessica Lee, Inside Jacksonville.
As the contents in Ecorelics continue to grow, so does its impact, which highlights sustainability and historical preservation. For some in Jacksonville, weeknights are starting to look a little different and a lot more active. Inside Jacksonville's Ryan Luke takes us to behind the scenes on one of the organizations that is turning strangers into teammates.
For many adults, making friends isn't always easy, and neither is finding time to unwind. But one local organization named Jack's Fray is changing the way that people do both through their social sports leagues.
I feel like so much centers around drinking, like, let's go hang out at a bar, let's go eat. This is nice alternative to that. It might involve that before or after, but it's a nice way to do something that's more active and healthy. And so this is just a nice way to meet people in a low-key, low-pressure environment.
While the physical aspect of the leagues continues to be a big draw, many participants say the positive impact it has had on their mental health has been a true game changer.
Well, whether I'm in a good mood before or after I get here, usually I'm in a good mood when I leave. So it doesn't really matter what the day's brought me or what the work week has afterwards. I definitely look at this as my weekly, release. So I'm smiling now, even though we just lost 11-0 on this game. But it's, wouldn't be the first and won't be the last.
It's a big load off my back. We all work hard every week, and so I look forward to this to just take a load off, get my energy out, and hang out with my friends.
From newcomers to longtime residents, players say the welcoming nature of the people in the league have helped them to create social circles that they could have never imagined.
I moved out here in August, and I was looking for a league to join because I love playing soccer. And it's great, man. We started out with about 10 people on our team. And it grew over time, but everyone on my team I love. They're great people.
We got a lot of memories now, I do, but they're my best friends now. I go out with them all the time, communicate with them, but even the other teams, they're just great people down here. It's just a good spot to be in Jacksonville. I couldn't ask for anything else, and it's marked out on the calendar each week, I can say that.
We have really bonded as a team. We hang out a lot. We have I've had Thanksgiving with some of these people, so I've really met lifelong friends. We've been with each other through the ups and downs, and honestly, these are not people who I would meet normally through my life, and so it's been really nice to kind of get a diverse group of friends through this.
What started as a simple way to get out of the house is becoming something much bigger. A place to build friendships, step away from the stress of everyday life, and find a sense of community. Ryan Luke, inside Jacksonville.
One kick at a time, Jack's Fray is proving that socializing through sports isn't just an activity reserved for kids. For more information on how to get involved and join their community, visit jacksfray.com. Well, that's a wrap for this edition of Inside Jacksonville. If you missed anything from today's program, just visit our website, unftv.com, and look under the Digital Journalism tab, where you'll find expanded versions of our stories, photos, interviews, and other extras. Again, that's unftv.com. You can also find us on Instagram, Facebook, X, and YouTube at Inside Jacks UNF. From all of us here at Inside Jacksonville, thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next month right here on the CW17.